waking up one day without any recollection of your past memories, or your ability to form new memories. These are just two of many different types of amnesia. The one that you're seeing now is called retrograde amnesia. It is a form of amnesia when you forget all the events and facts that happened before the diagnosis. If I were to be diagnosed with this condition, basic life activities would have been difficult to achieve. I would need constant reminders of basic memories of the past. For example, which one is my toothbrush? Which glasses belongs to me? Who is my friend and how I know them? Which one is my car? Keys? Wallet? What's interesting though is that you don't forget the skill, but the fact. For example, I wouldn't remember which car belongs to me, but I'll remember how to drive. When you have retrograde amnesia, you can't form new memories. It can affect with work and social activities because you might have challenges creating new memories. Someone with this form of amnesia might forget someone they've recently met, a new phone number, a recent meal that they just had. I feel like memory is something we really often take for granted. How often do you really think that how great your memory is and it works fine, it's functioning fine? Think of something you have experienced, recall your memory of it, feel the sensation it contains. Are you watching it on your inner film screen as you imagining it? Do you hear the sounds, the voices, the eyes of the person you're talking to? Can you even remember the smell? Well, you can, and that's the beauty of memory. Your hippocampus in the brain stores predominantly most of your memory. But people still forget, even if you're not suffering with any kind of amnesia. Forgetfulness is a sign of a healthy brain. Think of it this way, when your computer gets full of storage and you start deleting old files, right? So your memory works in the same way, where things that don't really matter to us anymore start getting disappeared from our brain. If you were to remember every single thing, life would be super excruciating. And there are people actually like that in this world. They describe life as super tough and they can't even think anymore because all they're thinking about is the memories. Our memories peak during our formative years. This means our teens and our 20s. This phenomenon is called the reminisce bump. Now this usually happens because there are so many firsts in this timeline during our lives. Our first kiss, our first car, our first breakup. We all remember these things because it was the first time we experienced it. The hippocampus is wired in a way that notices and picks up memories that it finds unique. Also, in this day and age, social media is such a big thing. Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, all that, Snapchat. So many of your memories are just embedded in the online world. People generally also have bad memory. Sleep is important for memory to consolidate. Depression, PTSD, and other forms of stress can prevent you and affect your memory. Talking about trauma, especially PTSD, is quickly what I want to really talk about. When you get PTSD, there's a likelihood of you forming new phobias. For example, if I had a phobia of going out and thinking something bad is going to happen to me, I will stay home and seek relief. There's something called trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. I know it sounds complicated, but it's actually quite simple and it's pretty effective. It is usually used in PTSD patients. The therapist shares an idea that we're not required to throw ourselves completely at the memories we fully fear, but to approach them cautiously and gain more and more control, slowly. We get used to these memories in this way and give them less power. There's a 1998 Japanese film called Afterlife, in which the deceased are asked to choose one memory, a positive one, that they're set to relive for the rest of their life in heaven. So the whole movie revolves around that. The concept is such a beautiful concept and I highly recommend you guys watch it. Obviously, if you don't understand Japanese, watch it with subtitles. But I guess this is why people store memories in photographs or in journal. They like to revisit positive memories. I know I do. They want to capture something meaningful, something close to their heart, something they want to preserve, show other people and look back to. What would your happiest moment be if I asked you to choose one? Do comment below. I know it's a very hard question, but very interested to know. Like I said before, an emotional impact of the memory can determine if it stays with us or not. I'll never forget this when I bungee jumped from 135 meters above and in Queenstown, New Zealand. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget the adrenaline rush I had after it, the nervousness I had before it. I didn't even sleep that night because I was so excited and I'll never forget it. It was such a huge thing that I had done. Probably the scariest things I've ever done in life. If you asked me what I had for lunch, let's say 5 days ago, I wouldn't remember it. Catching the bus to work, the same bus, brushing your teeth, having a shower, eating what you have for lunch. We do this on a daily basis that it becomes something called cumulative memory. You also have something called semantic memory. Semantic memory is a recollection of facts gathered from the time we are young. For example, learning how to tell the time or spelling the alphabet. Then episodic memory basically allows you to travel back in time to relive events, recalling the places you were or with the people you were. anything like that. Spatial memory is something that I'm horrible at. It's remembering directions. I am so bad in this. It's a cognitive process that enables a person to remember different locations. Finally, spontaneous memories are when memories just randomly come to your brain without you consciously trying to remember them. It is obviously impractical to forget birthdays, friends' names, people who have just met, but it happens. That's what being a human is. You're bound to forget. And remember, if you're forgetting something, it's a sign of a healthy mind. You don't want to remember everything. Just want to quickly explore this topic of forgetfulness, just quickly. There's two things that basically are the reasons why we forget. Number one is attention. I remember reading this analogy once where it said your attention is like a camera lens. Everything that is focused is what you're gonna remember, but then everything that's in the background and blurred out, you will forget. Think about that quickly for a second. When you go to work and you're driving your car to work, how many trees, cars, people, places you pass by? But if I asked you to remember some of those details, you would struggle because it's not in your attention span. Next obstacle that causes forgetfulness is something called short-term memory loss. Now, information in short-term memory loss in this part of the memory archive only stays for 20 seconds. Living with amnesia would be super difficult. It makes me really grateful for the memory that I have. Forgetting is important for your brain. It needs to happen for you to have a healthy brain. The truth about forgetting is that we're forced to accept it and embrace it. The most important things in life will stand out, and the things that won't will just dissipate. And that's why reminiscing is good, you know? When you look at your old homework books from school, or your medals from the athletics carnival, or when you're with your loved ones and your friends and you just talk about all the stupid things you did years back. Reminiscing is a beautiful thing. This is why I also think why elderly people love reflecting. They have so many episodic memories that if you actually sit down with them without thinking what to say next or just being on your phone, just listen to them. They have so many stories they are willing to share with you because they've lived in this earth for so long. They have existed for so long. I'm not saying you have to agree with everything they say, but you might learn a thing or two. Elderly people actually carry a lot of wisdom. I also think the element of time and memory are interconnected, not in a psychological way, but in a philosophical way. Visions of the future are usually inspired from your past memories, dreams, imaginations. The past is fixed, but the future is not. The problem is we use the memory of the past to describe our future or to imaginate our future. And it's also important to know that memory is not always right. It tells you this has happened in the past, so be careful of this, be careful of that, be careful of this person, because it's gonna happen again. Bad memories are necessary though. They shape you into the person you are. I'm the person I am today because of my bad experiences and my bad memories that I'll probably never forget because the emotional responses I carry with them. We are all time travelers of our journey. Memory is a gift. We have the ability to look in the future or think about the past. We actually have our brain networked in a way that allows us to do that, whereas animals don't have that. How will you use this gift of memory? Thank you so much, guys. Before the end screen pops up, I just want to quickly say two things. First of all, if you're really interested about learning about memory or just fascinated by memory like I am, I recommend a book called Diving for Seahorses. It's just an amazing book. I mean, there is so much more in this. This video would have gone for 35 minutes if I just kept going and going and going, but unfortunately I can't go for that long. Second of all, just think about this today. If you're watching this video, how lucky you are to actually have the ability to relive your episodic memories, to have spontaneous memories, to even have semantic memories, the cumulative memories that you go through every day on a daily basis, the ability for your brain to actually forget memories in order for you to create more. All this is possible from your brain working so intricately and just firing so many networks and neurons, and the ability for your hippocampus to store your memories. Don't think too much about the past. Don't always imaginate things about the future. The memory is a beautiful thing when it can be, but it's not always right also. Thank you, guys. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new to this channel, my name is Anmol. I usually make videos and vlogs. I get my ideas from the great books that I read, the pieces of film and art that I see, and the places I'm lucky enough to travel to. Now, my main goal is that you learn something new after watching any one of my videos. So thank you, and make sure to subscribe, share it with your friends, and hit that notification button on, so every time I upload a video, you get it also.